What could have brought down AI171? Aviation expert Captain Steve's theory goes viral days after the plane crash in Ahmedabad, one of India's deadliest aviation disasters. A new theory about what could have brought down Air India flight AI171 is gaining traction online. The Boeing 787 Dreamliner, which crashed into a residential hostel shortly after takeoff from Ahmedabad Airport for London Gatwick, killed at least 274 people, including passengers, crew, and residents on the ground. Now, international aviation expert Captain Steve's video is going viral on X, formerly Twitter, in which he suggested the crash may have been caused by accidental flap retraction instead of landing gear, a cockpit error he called a tragic mistake. What really happened to AI171 Captain Steve has now shared his theory on the Air India plane crash. pic.twitter.com OHQTZ3WYSN Mohit Chauhan. Mohit Laws, June 13, 2025. Speaking earlier to CNN News 18, Steve had discussed other possible scenarios, including flap mismanagement and a bird strike, though he noted that it would likely require a large number of birds to cripple an aircraft like the 787. Exclusive: don't think the gear was ever raised. The handle never got touched. We will know for sure once the black box is recovered. Don't think the plane lost power. Captain Steve, aviation expert. Ahmedabad plane crash. Air India plane crash. Bras stacks Zaka _Jacob. pic.twitter.com's K6YY4JCT7 News 18 CNN News 18 June 13, 2025. Nanan reviewing publicly available video footage of the takeoff. Captain Steve pointed to an unusual detail: the wings of the Boeing 787 did not appear to flex upward as they typically would when the aircraft is generating strong lift. The Dreamliner's composite wings are designed to bend noticeably under aerodynamic pressure, a visible sign that the aircraft is climbing efficiently. In this case, he said, you're going to see on a 787 the ends of the wing start to bend. That is an indication, a visual indication they're really getting a lot of lift. This 787 is not getting a lot of lift right now. He argued that the absence of this wing flex suggested the aircraft was struggling to generate the lift needed for a steady climb, an early warning sign that something was aerodynamically off. Importantly, Steve also ruled out engine failure based on what was visible in the footage. According to him, there were no external signs of either engine losing power. This airplane can fly just fine on one engine at any gross weight. The idea that both engines failed at the same time is like a billion, a trillion to one shot, he said. Nanan he then laid out a scenario in which the pilot may have called for the gear to be raised, but the co-pilot could have mistakenly pulled the flap lever instead. If that happened, and this is a big if, this explains a lot by why this airplane stopped flying, why the lift over the wings died, he said. At takeoff speed and weight, losing that additional lift while the landing gear remains extended could, he argued, trigger a power install. Now the flaps are retracting, all that extra lift you're producing in the wings goes away. You're already slow, you've still got those great big landing gear out there producing all sorts of drag. This is a bad combination. As the aircraft struggled, Steve said the pilot likely pulled back on the nose in a last-ditch effort to stay airborne. The airplane begins to kind of wallow, the pilot pulls back even more on the nose. That aggravates the whole thing. Nanan he believes the aircraft likely never climbed higher than 500 to 600 feet before it began descending fatally. With little altitude to recover, the pilots couldn't lower the nose to regain airspeed, something Steve described as a controlled power install that ultimately ended in impact with the ground. While he acknowledged other possible scenarios, such as a bird strike or fuel contamination, he argued that those are less convincing. In his assessment, the flight's behavior points more towards an aerodynamic failure than a mechanical one. He noted that a power loss and a lift loss are not the same, and that a plane can still lose lift even if the engines are functioning properly, especially if the wing configuration is incorrect for that phase of flight. Nanan he ended on a somber note: it's very sad. I feel so sorry for these pilots. I think they tried valiantly to save this airplane, but this may have been simply a tragic mistake. Steve acknowledged that his theory is based on preliminary observations and may be disproven once black box data is analyzed. He said he would not hesitate to revise his assessment if new information emerges. And if I need to make a correction, he'll be the first guy to make a correction. Nanan swipe left for next video. In simple terms, Captain Steve said that the crash might have happened because someone in the cockpit accidentally pressed the wrong control, pulling back the wing flaps instead of raising the wheels. That would have made it harder for the plane to stay in the air, especially just after takeoff when it's heavy and slow. Nan, but this is just one person's theory, based on video and experience. The actual cause is still unknown. Investigators are going through the black box data, and until they finish, no explanation can be treated as fact. Latest blogs.